world is stunned as the U.S. unveils a groundbreaking anti-gravity fighter jet, ushering in a new era of warfare. Packed with advanced technology, this revolutionary aircraft is set to dominate the skies and redefine military power. In a world riddled with conflict, this advanced weapon could reshape the future of combat forever. But what exactly makes this fighter so special? And how will it affect the global military landscape? Join us as we explore the features of the new 2025 U.S. revolutionary anti-gravity fighter jet that is ready for battle. The TR-3A Black Manta is one of the U.S. military aircraft that has a unique triangular shape with smooth, flat surfaces designed to make it stealthy and nearly invisible to radar. It has captured the public's imagination as a black project aircraft, meaning it is part of secretive, classified military operations. It is a stealth reconnaissance aircraft, which means it is designed to spy on enemy activities without being detected. Its shape is designed like a flat triangle with rounded edges, which help it evade radar systems, making it nearly invisible while flying over enemy territory. This stealth capability is one of the main roles of this fighter jet, and also to gather intelligence and provide information on high-value targets. Like other stealth aircraft, its design reduces the chances of being picked up by radar, giving it an advantage during missions where surprise is the goal. Many people picture this jet with the black triangular UFOs, meaning unidentified flying objects. People often say they see large, silent, triangular-shaped objects with bright lights at the corners. This was seen near military bases, making people wonder if what they saw was actually the advanced military aircraft called the TR-3A. This aircraft has the same stealth programs that produced aircraft like the Nighthawk, which was developed as a support plane and used to complement stealth bombers during missions. One of the roles of TR-3A is to scout ahead, gather intelligence, and ensure the path is clear for other stealth aircraft. Now you see why it is called the reconnaissance craft, because it is a plane that can gather and relay crucial information. It uses special technology to enhance its stealth capabilities, and this includes radar-absorbing materials and coatings similar to those used on other stealth aircraft. The craft's triangular shape also contributes to its stealth, helping it avoid detection. It operates at high altitudes and flies at speeds faster than traditional planes. It is often compared with other legendary black project aircraft like the Lockheed Have Blue, the F-117 Nighthawk, and the SR-71 Blackbird. Let us take a look at these fighter jets. In 1970, during the height of the Cold War, the U.S. military decided to find a way to counter the sophisticated Soviet radar systems. Traditional jets were fast, but they were easy to spot with radar. So the U.S. needed something entirely new. They thought of an aircraft that could avoid being seen in the first place. This idea gave birth to Have Blue, the experimental project that led to the first operational stealth fighter, the F-117 Nighthawk. Have Blue was not a typical jet because it looked different. It looked more like an alien craft with sharp angles and a very unusual shape. This odd design was not just for show. Every part of it had a purpose. The aim was to make the plane invisible to radar. When radar waves hit a normal plane, they bounce back, allowing enemies to detect it. But this aircraft was different because its flat surfaces and sharp angles can scatter the radar waves, bouncing them away. This was called stealth geometry, and it was completely new at the time. It seems the engineers used complex computer models to create this shape, which made this fighter jet extremely hard to detect. The plane was also covered with special materials that absorbed radar waves, making it even more stealthy. Together, the unique shape and the radar-absorbing coating allowed this aircraft to slip past enemy radar systems. This was a major breakthrough, and before this, no one had ever built a plane that could hide so effectively from radar. This fighter faced a lot of challenges, as we all know that creating such an aircraft will not be easy. First, its sharp angles and flat surfaces made it difficult to fly. Most planes have smooth aerodynamic shapes that help them glide through the air. However, the design of this jet created a lot of air resistance, and that made it harder to control. Pilots had to be extra careful when flying it, especially during takeoffs and landings. The engineers at Lockheed worked hard to make the plane stable, but it was never as smooth or agile as other jets. Its purpose was stealth, not speed or ability to easily change directions. Another challenge was the heat from the engines, because radar is not the only way to detect a plane. Heat-seeking missiles can also find their targets by following the heat from their engines. To reduce this risk, the engines of this aircraft were buried deep within the plane, with special vents to cool the exhaust. This helped hide the heat signs and made it even harder for enemies to track it. Still, keeping the engines cool was tricky and required constant fine-tuning. The Have Blue project was highly kept a secret, and only a few people knew about it. The testing was done in isolated areas to avoid drawing attention. The first prototype took flight in 1977, and it showed that the stealth concept worked as the plane could fly past radar systems without being detected. This success proved that stealth technology was not just a dream, but it is real and can change the future of air combat. But despite its successes, this fighter jet was not perfect. It was an experimental aircraft, meant to test ideas and push boundaries. Two of these aircraft prototypes were built, and both were eventually lost in crashes. These crashes show the challenges of flying such a unique and difficult-to-control plane. But even though it never went into production, its lessons paved the way for the F-117 Nighthawk, the first operational stealth fighter. The Nighthawk took everything learned from the Have Blue and improved on it, becoming an important part of the U.S. Air Force's stealth fleet. But we cannot ignore the impact of Have Blue because it proved that stealth technology was possible and can set the stage for future stealth aircraft like the B-2 Spirit bomber, F-22 Raptor, and F-35 Lightning II. Today, we now understand why stealth is a critical part of military aviation, and it all started with this special aircraft and its strange angular design. This small experimental aircraft showed that sometimes thinking differently can lead to revolutionary changes. It brought a new idea of making planes invisible to radar and turned it into a reality. The engineers and pilots who worked on the project were pioneers, pushing the limits of what was possible with aviation technology. While the plane itself may be gone, its legacy lives on in every stealth aircraft that flies today. Now let's take a look at the first operational stealth fighter we mentioned earlier, the Nighthawk. The Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk is a legendary aircraft known for being the first operational stealth fighter jet. Unlike other planes, it was built to be nearly invisible to radar, just like the Have Blue, allowing it to carry out dangerous missions deep in enemy territory without being detected. It was a game changer for military aviation, combining stealth with precision strike capability in a way that had never been seen before. This fighter jet was developed in secret also during the war. At that time, the U.S. military wanted a plane that could avoid enemy radar and deliver precise strikes. But due to the failure of Have Blue, the creation of the Nighthawk became operational in 1983. The public, however, did not know about it until 1988, when the U.S. government finally acknowledged its existence. The F-117's design is one of the most unique things about it. Unlike traditional fighter jets, the Nighthawk does not have smooth curves. Instead, it had sharp angles and flat surfaces known as a faceted design, and it worked by scattering radar waves in different directions instead of bouncing them back to their source. By doing this, the plane was much harder for enemy radar systems to detect. People often described it as looking like a flying diamond or even a spaceship from science fiction. One of the impressive features of this fighter aircraft was its special coating, because the entire plane was covered with a material that could absorb radar waves, further reducing the ability to easily detect it. This combination of its unique shape and radar-absorbing coating made it incredibly hard to spot, even when flying directly over enemy air defenses. However, these design elements made the plane less aerodynamic, meaning it cannot move as quickly as other fighter jets. Most jets always focus on speed, an easy way to change directions, but this aircraft was different. It was all about stealth. It was not the fastest plane in the sky, nor was it meant to engage in combat with enemy aircraft. Instead, its primary role was to sneak into enemy territory, hit important targets with pinpoint accuracy, and escape without being seen. The Nighthawk can carry 2 laser-guided bombs, which allows it to destroy critical targets like enemy bunkers, radar sites, and command centers. During this period, precision was very important, and this outstanding jet stands for this purpose. The F-117 was also packed with advanced technology for its time. Its cockpit had state-of-the-art systems that helped the pilot to go through dangerous areas and lock onto targets with incredible precision. The plane could operate at night too, adding to its stealthy reputation. This earned it the nickname Nighthawk, since it could move under the cover of darkness and stay hidden. Pilots used computers and laser systems to guide their bombs, making sure they hit the target without alerting the enemy. We all know that flying this type of fighter jet cannot be that simple. Because of its sharp angles and unique shape, the plane cannot be handled like other jets. It was less stable and had to be controlled carefully. Pilots had to go through intense training to learn how to fly it safely. However, once they mastered its controls, it became a powerful tool in their hands. The plane's stealth features and high-tech systems made it a valuable asset for the U.S. Air Force. Even though it was not the easiest jet to fly, the F-117 first saw combat in 1989 during the U.S. invasion of Panama, where it successfully hit important targets, but it truly made a name for itself during the Gulf War in 1991. The Nighthawk flew dozens of missions over heavily defended areas, striking enemy command centers and military targets while staying hidden from radar. Its ability to carry out these missions without being detected showed the world how effective stealth technology could be. The aircraft became a sign of modern warfare, proving that stealth and precision could make a huge difference on the battlefield. Despite its many strengths, this jet was not invincible. In 1999, during the conflict in Kosovo, an enemy missile managed to shoot down one of the Nighthawks, and this showed that even stealth technology had its limits. However, the pilot survived, and the incident was seen as something unusual that does not happen often. So the jet continued to serve as a crucial part of the Air Force for several more years. In 2008, the F-117 was officially retired, and newer and more advanced stealth aircraft, like the F-22 Raptor and B-2 Spirit, took its place. However, the Nighthawk was officially the first plane seen in public to show that stealth could be more powerful than speed or raw firepower. Its legacy lives on in the modern stealth fighters and bombers that continue to shape the future of aerial combat. The Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird is also one of the most extraordinary planes ever built. It was developed in the 1960s, and it was designed to fly faster and higher than anything else in the sky. The aim was simple, but extremely ambitious, and that was to create a plane that could fly deep into enemy territory, take detailed pictures, and return safely, and this must be done without being seen or caught. This was during the Cold War, when the United States and the Soviet Union were trying to outsmart each other. This fighter jet was the U.S. secret weapon for gathering intelligence quickly and safely. It was incredibly fast, as it could fly more than 3 times the speed of sound, which is over 2,200 miles per hour. That is faster than a bullet, and this means it can cross the United States in just over an hour. To give you an idea of how fast this is, most commercial planes fly at about 500 miles per hour. It was built to outrun anything that tried to catch it, and if an enemy fired a missile, this fighter jet could quickly speed up and leave it far behind. This made it nearly impossible to shoot down. The design was also special because it had a long, sleek body that helped it slice through the air at high speeds. It was painted black to help absorb heat, which is why it earned the nickname Blackbird. The black paint also helps to reduce its radar signature, making it harder for enemies to detect. But the plane was not just about looking cool, it was built to be stealthy. Its shape and materials made it harder to spot on radar, which was very important for its missions. The engines were one of the incredible parts of it because this plane used 2 huge engines called Pratt & Whitney J58 turbojets. These engines were so powerful that they let the plane fly at extremely high speeds and altitudes. At its fastest, the engines would shift into something called ramjet mode. This basically turned them into rocket engines, allowing this fighter jet to go even faster. But flying this fast created a lot of heat, and the plane's skin would get so hot that it expanded by several inches during flight. To deal with this, the engineers built it mainly from a strong, heat-resistant metal called titanium. Getting enough titanium for the Blackbird was a very big issue, though. A lot of it had to be secretly bought from the Soviet Union, even though they were the main threat, and the reason the plane was built to spy on them, which was surprising. But flying at high speeds was not the only trick this aircraft had. It can also fly very high, up to 85,000 feet above the ground. At this height, pilots could see the round shape of the Earth in the dark space above them. Flying so high kept it out of reach of most enemy planes and missiles, but being so high up came with its issues. The pilots had to wear special suits, similar to those used by astronauts, to protect them from the cold and lack of oxygen. Going at that speed and altitude also put a lot of stress on the aircraft, so it had to be built to withstand extreme conditions. Now, talking about the main purpose, the US built this aircraft and that was to spy on their enemies. It carried advanced cameras and sensors that could take incredibly detailed pictures of enemy installations and military activities. This allowed the US military to know what its enemies were doing and plan accordingly. No other plane could do what the Blackbird did because of its features, and this made it one of the most valuable tools for gathering intelligence during the Cold War. But despite its impressive capabilities, this fighter jet faced a lot of difficulties. One of the biggest problems was fuel. Because the plane flew so fast and generated so much heat, sometimes its titanium skin expands, causing fuel to leak from its tanks while it was on the ground. This means that the plane had to be refueled right after takeoff. The SR-71 was very expensive to operate because it needed special fuel, and maintaining such a high-performance aircraft was costly. Over time, other technologies like satellites started to take over some of its intelligence-gathering roles, and this led to the Blackbird being retired in the late 1990s. But even after it stopped flying, it remained famous for its speed, altitude, and ability to evade detection. The pilots who flew this fighter jet were some of the best experts in the world. Controlling a plane that flew so fast and at such high altitudes required special training. The cockpit was complex, with advanced instruments that allowed the pilots to control the aircraft at high speeds and altitudes. They had to wear pressurized suits, and the conditions were so extreme that even small mistakes could be dangerous. But the pilots loved the challenge, and flying the plane was like piloting a rocket across the sky, and they took great pride in their missions. In its time, this aircraft was able to set many records, and it still holds the record for the fastest air-breathing manned aircraft. Even today, decades after it last flew, no other plane has matched its speed and altitude capabilities. It is a true icon of aviation, representing what can be achieved when engineers and pilots push the limits of what is possible. It showed that speed and stealth could be combined to create a plane that was nearly unstoppable. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link appearing on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.